growing up, we were always told when we get older, we were told to go to school, get a good job, get an education so you can get a good job, right? That's what our grandparents, our parents always taught us, right? But work, like when you think about work, what are you really working for when you think about it, right? Like when you ask people, why do you go to work? And this has nothing to do with like owning a business. That's separate. What I mean by going to work is, like most people when they go to work, they do stuff that they really don't want to do. Some people, there's a small fraction of people that actually enjoy the work that they do. Some do. Not all though. But I'm talking about 9 to 5 punching the clock type stuff. You ask people why do they go to work, the first thing that they say is because I got to pay bills. They never say because I want to enjoy my life. They never say because I want to keep food in my stomach, food in my kids' stomach. The first thing that comes to their mind is I go to work so I can pay bills. That is the most slavish mentality I've ever. If you're existing, if you're going to work just to pay bills, bro, you need to really reevaluate your life, bro. That is not why you're supposed to go to work. You're supposed to go to work. If you put it that way, you're supposed to go to work. I don't think you're supposed to do anything. You know what I mean? But if you put it in that perspective where you're supposed to go to work, it shouldn't be to pay bills. It should be because you want to keep food in your belly and feed your kids and enjoy your life as much as you can. Not to make utility companies and banks and all these other people rich. That's not why you should go to, want to go to work. You shouldn't say just to, because that sounds like you're a slave. You pretty much, you going to work to feed, to enrich people every 2 weeks. That's pretty much what it is. That's insane to have that thought process, man. That's why a lot of people, when they think like that, they don't have the thought process to actually go out there and create their own jobs or create wealth or go out there and try to start their business. They're already mentally defeated when you think like that. But is it lazy when you don't want to work? You see it all the time. Like people, like there's a lot of people out there that don't work. A lot of people don't want to go to work. Some people decided they don't want to work. They just like, oh, look, I want to figure some other stuff out. I don't want to go to work for somebody. And when they say that, a lot of people call those kind of people lazy. And they say, oh, well, then you must just want to live off the system since you don't want to go to work. I think that's the opposite. There are some people out there, if you want to get into that live off the system thing, whatever that means, there are people out there that they do want to just live off the system. But there are people that just don't want to go to work because they don't want to be a slave. That's it. That doesn't mean that they're lazy because they don't want to go to work. They just don't want to punch the clock for somebody the rest of their life because they know you really get nothing out of that shit. So that's what that is. And then people that always call people lazy and want to mooch off, those are the people that they have no choices in life. They already decided that they was going to be work slaves, so they want to project that onto you. Like, well, you don't want to go to work. You don't want to pay taxes and go to work like a normal person. Right there, when you hear people say that, they're already thinking in a different thought process than a winner. A real winner don't think like that. Those kind of people think in the worker ant perspective. That is not how a free thinker is supposed to look at work or earning currency or whatever you want to say. So, no, it is not lazy because you don't want to work, man. That is what people that have no choice in life and failed in life, that is what they'll tell you to make you, they want you to be in the same world that they're in. So they'll tell you, well, you don't want to work. I mean, you lazy. This person that's telling you this, he has no drive. He or she has no drive. All they do is punch a clock like a work drone. And they probably got a bad back. Maybe they got scoliosis, whatever. So they want you to be in the same category. Those are the type of people to stay away from, actually. People that say stuff like that, those are the type of people that you don't want around you in your circle, because their job is to keep you mentally defeated. They want to keep you down low like them. They'll tell you, just like with the kids, with the youngins out here, they figured out a way how they don't have to bust their ass working a 9 to 5 or go and work in a fast food joint. They figured out how to do this social media stuff to make a lot of money. And you got the old people, sometimes older than me, shaming them, telling them that they're lazy because they don't want to work traditional jobs. There is no rule book that says somebody has to work a traditional job. You don't have to work hard. You got to work smart. You can use your mind rather than physical work. They want you to be physically beaten down like them. That's pretty much what that is, man. That's jealousy. That's like a low-key form of jealousy. Whenever I hear like older folks say that to like younger folks, oh, y'all young and y'all don't want to do nothing with yourself. Why? Cause your hands got calluses and stuff like that. So you expect my hands to have calluses too? What if I don't want to get dirty at work? Now my thing is with work is, the only work that we should be doing is work for ourselves. Yeah. And manual work, we should be doing for ourselves. Like, fixing our own cars, changing our own oil, mowing our own lawns, doing stuff fixing up things around our house. That kind of work. Absolutely, 100%. But to say somebody is lazy because they don't want to get up at 8 o'clock in the morning, sit in traffic for an hour, to go punch a clock for 8 hours, and then you don't even get paid at the end of your 8 hours. You ever thought about that too? You go to work. You don't even get paid the day. How you going to work for 8 hours and then y'all don't get paid at the end of my shift? I got to wait 2 weeks. Or the best case scenario, I get paid every week. Most people get paid every 2 weeks. They got to wait 2 whole weeks when they worked an entire 10 days with no money, bro. Just let that sink in when you think about it. That's crazy. That's crazy, man. But no, the answer to that is, don't let anybody tell you that you're lazy because you don't want to go to work for somebody else. No. This whole system of money, it's not supposed to exist, bro. That's something that they created. They inserted us into this from when we were born. We didn't ask for any of this stuff. They inserted this whole monetary system as a form of control, as a form of power. It's all about control. That's all it is. They're the ones that print the money. So why they need us to make money for them if they print the money? A lot of y'all got to think. Just think about that for a minute. It's a control mechanism. That's all it is. So don't let nobody ever tell you. If you don't have a job and you don't have a desire to have a job right now, don't let nobody tell you lazy because you don't want to work. No. They're the real lazy ones because they don't want to put their mind to work, to actually do something to better themselves and leave some generational wealth for their family. They're the real lazy ones, but they're the ones that's defeated. But they want to act like you're the lazy one because they really deep down know that they're a failure. That's what that is. So there you go. Let me know what you think, man. This has been Rebel World News. Like, subscribe. I'll catch y'all in the next one. Y'all stay safe out there.